So welcome everybody to Tuesday chair yoga. Just want to make sure you can see all of me, and I'm thinking that I just need to bring that up a smidge. All right, so as we've been doing every week, I would like to start with a little bit of breathing exercises. So if you want to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and you can let your hands rest on your lap or on your legs, or you can even have one hand inside the other, whatever feels most comfortable. And if you can, have your legs and your feet be relaxed as well. And then notice if you're kind of leaning forward a little bit in your chair, or you kind of leaning to one side, see if you can kind of get your spine nice and tall, not in any way that creates tension in your shoulders and your neck, but just in a way that allows you to breathe a little more freely. Because when we're kind of leaning forward, it's difficult for the body to expand and contract. So it's a little more difficult to get that air in. So once you're comfortable and your posture is nice and tall, again, I'll ask you to close your eyes if that feels okay. And if you'd rather not close your eyes, you can just drop your gaze down at the floor. And let's begin just by noticing the breath, noticing the way air is moving in and out. Notice if it feels easy to breathe smoothly this morning, or if it's a little difficult. Just for reference, the pollen counts are a little bit on the high side right now, so it might be kind of challenging to breathe in and out smoothly and evenly.
Thing he wants, I don't have. I've got a front wheel, I don't have a back wheel because they're different designs.
And as you're inhaling and exhaling, notice if your breath is fast or slow, if it's shallow or deep. Can you notice the temperature of the air that you're breathing in and the temperature of the air that you're breathing out? And now let's begin to consciously deepen the breathing. So when you breathe in, see if you can let your belly be relaxed. Allow your belly to fill, your rib cage to expand, your collarbone area to expand. And as you breathe out, see if you can pull the navel in toward the spine, so you're using your belly muscles a little bit, and feel how your chest deflates somewhat. So long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And if you're having some difficulty breathing this morning, you can breathe in through your nostrils and then out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. You want to make sure, whether you're exhaling through your nose or through your mouth, you just want to make sure that you're exhaling completely. Most of us don't exhale completely. Most of the time we exhale maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of the way. So you're going to have to make a concerted effort to get all of that air out before you go back to your inhalation. And the reason for this is if you exhale completely, you're going to be able to fill your body with more air than if you just exhaled a little bit. So it's kind of like the analogy of a sponge. You're using a sponge to kind of sop up a spill on the counter. And if you don't wring out that sponge completely, you're not going to sop up very much water. If you just kind of give it a quick squeeze, whatever is left in the sponge prevents the rest of that water from being absorbed. So it kind of works the same way, if you can visualize that as a possibility for your lungs. So breathing in, breathing out. Long, slow, deep breath in, long, slow breath out. And let's go ahead and add a count now to the breath. So as you're breathing in, see if you can count slowly to 4. And as you're breathing out, same thing, you're going to count slowly to 4. So breathing in to a slow count of 4 and breathing out to a slow count of 4. What we're doing here now is regulating the inhalations and exhalations. When we're stressed, we tend to breathe in to a certain rhythm and then out at a slower, or I'm sorry, at a shorter rhythm. So usually we'll breathe in more than we breathe out. And what I just said about wringing out that sponge, we don't get that benefit. So again, that's when we're stressed, we don't fully wring out that sponge. So by adding a count, we're making sure that the inhalations and the exhalations start to become the same length. And part of what this does is it calms the nervous system. You might feel your shoulders starting to relax down a little bit. You might feel your jaw starting to relax. And if you don't feel that, see if you can direct your attention, your awareness there, and create that sensation. Long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And let's continue with the counting. So we're going to add a little bit of movement, even as we're doing the breathing. And if you'd like to open your eyes, you can do that, but see if you can still maintain this count. So we're going to really slowly, as we next breathe in, sweep the arms out to the side. So we're still counting to 4. So it takes a long time for the arms to get up overhead. And then again, as we count to 4, it's going to take a long time for the arms to come out to the sides and all the way down. So breathing in and breathing out, long, slow, deep breaths in, long, slow, deep breaths out. And when your arms get up overhead, when you fully inhale, see if you can reach up a little higher, get a little taller before turning your palms out and then bringing the arms down. And at the bottom of the exhalation, when your arms get all the way down by your sides, bring your fingers closer to the floor like you're trying to take your shoulder tops away from your ears. And we'll resume going back and forth. Again, breathing in, breathing out. Great. If you find yourself losing your count because the arms are kind of confusing the brain a little bit, you can just let your arms rest until you get that count really where you want it. So we're going to do this just a couple more times, breathing in and breathing out. Lifting, lengthening through the spine, reaching through the arms, the fingers, the hands. And the next time that we breathe in and have the arms up overhead, we're going to pause and hold the arms up here. And we're going to keep breathing. Now, lose the count. You don't have to count anymore. Just breathe in and out, and then take your right hand and reach it up a little higher. Get some length through that right side. You don't lean too far to the right. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So it's like you're trying to pull that stretch up from your armpit. We're going to go back and forth, right side and then left side, like you're trying to climb up or reach up toward the ceiling a little bit there. Couple more breaths. Don't forget to breathe if you're not breathing. See if you can go back to your breathing. Good, and then we're going to slowly reach both arms way up. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring the arms out to just shoulder height, maybe a tiny bit lower than shoulder height. So we want to come down a little bit. In other words, you don't want your arms way up here and your shoulders way up here. You want to have the arms down a little bit. Reach out through your right fingers and lengthen that arm, and then reach out through your left fingers and lengthen that arm. And as you're lengthening the arms, breathing in and breathing out, we're going to start to turn the hands forward. So if you use your thumbs like the rudder, we're going to turn the thumbs up, forward, down, and around, and keep reaching the arms out. And then as we breathe in and out, we're going to rotate the arms the other way. So we've got this rotation happening from the hand up to the wrist, to the elbow, to the shoulder. And your breath should be smooth and comfortable. So again, we're not counting anymore. We're just letting the breath do what the breath does. If this gets a little stressful, you can always bring your arms a little bit lower. That works fine. So you just don't want them way up here. You want to have them either shoulder height or a little bit lower than shoulder height. Keep reaching through your fingers. So we're really asking the arms to do a lot of work here. Keep inhaling, exhaling. Good. Just 2 more breaths, 2 more rotations. and 2. And then let your arms come all the way down. Let your hands rest on your lap. Close your eyes for a moment. Let's take a deep breath in and let it out with a sigh. And then let's roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down a couple of times. So get a little rotation there in the shoulders. And then let's take the right arm, and we're going to circle the right arm, maybe with the elbow kind of going forward, up, around, and down and behind. Breathing in and breathing out, and then extend your arm, so come way up and around and behind. So you're reaching that arm. Now, if you're dealing with a shoulder injury or issue, or you're dealing with a neck issue, just be kind to yourself there. Don't have to lift your arm way up overhead. At some point, we're going to reverse direction. I always like to reverse when my arm is down toward the floor because my shoulder is in a much more stable position. If you rotate, if you switch the direction when your arm is up overhead, your shoulder is in a little more vulnerable position. So it's always better to change direction when you're more stable. So let's just rotate one more time up and around. Good, and then we're gonna go all the way up and reach, and lean into that left side. Lean as far as you can into the left side without your left cheek coming off the chair. Breathe in, breathe out. And then come all the way up. Bring that arm down to shoulder height, and then we're gonna sweep it around to the left, and then bring it all the way back and around to the right. So let's do this a few more times. So we're sweeping forward and across to the left, and sweeping back and to the right. So as your arm comes back, turn your palm up. And as your arm comes forward and over to the left, you're going to turn your palm down. Again, that's just to kind of bring your shoulder into its most stable position. So it's a lot easier for the shoulder to do its maneuvers here. So one more time, coming back behind. And then we're going to bring that arm over to the left. We're going to hold the arm over to the left. Now take your left hand and pull your arm across to the left as far as you can. Okay? And with your arm over here to the left, we're going to turn and look out over the right shoulder. And as you're looking out over your right shoulder, you're going to gently lift and lower your chin, like you're saying yes. So there's a gentle lifting and lowering of the chin here. Breathing in, breathing out. Good, couple more of these. And then turn your head back to the center. And now you're going to release your right arm, bring it around behind your back. And as you bring the arm behind your back, you're going to take your left hand and grab hold of your right hand. So if you're sitting way in the back of your chair, you're going to need to scoot forward. So behind you, you're grabbing hold of that hand. If you can get up to your wrist back there, go ahead and do that. And then give that arm a really gentle tug over to the left. So you shouldn't ever feel any pain in here. You might feel a little bit of a stretch, maybe in the arm, the shoulder. You might feel it in the elbow or the neck or the back. Just give that arm a little bit of a gentle stretch over there. And then we're going to sit up nice and tall. So again, if you're leaning forward or you're leaning to one side, you're going to sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop your left ear down toward your left shoulder and hold here as you breathe. Now, as you're holding your left ear toward your left shoulder, see if you can relax your neck, right? So oftentimes we bring the ear to the shoulder and we've got the shoulders kind of all jammed up there around the ear. Let's see if we can just relax that a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. And slowly turn the nose down toward the floor and then rotate up toward the ceiling. So the ear still stays near the shoulder. This is on that left side. And we're rotating the head a little bit. So we're stretching the neck muscles on the right a little bit differently each time we rotate the head. So that rotation changes the angle of stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. And then let's bring the head kind of back up to the center. Good. Release your right arm from behind your back, sweep it forward, bring it all the way up overhead if you can. You're going to take your hand and place it on the top of your shoulder or maybe behind your back, like you're patting yourself on the back there. And then take your left hand, and as you breathe in, you're going to push that elbow up and sit up nice and tall. And as you breathe out, you're just going to release that hand, but stay lengthened on that right side. So we're lifting that elbow up a little bit more, breathing in, breathing out. And as you're holding your elbow up nice and high, I'm going to ask you to turn your head as far to the left as you can. So lift your right elbow nice and high, turning your head as far to the left as you can, breathing in, breathing out. Next inhale, we're going to bring the head all the way back to center. Let's reach that arm way up overhead. Lift, 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 and lengthen. And as you exhale, you're going to drop your arm right down by your side. Let your other arm come down as well. So both arms are hanging down by your sides. Close your eyes and notice how much longer your right arm is than your left. Notice that the fingers feel like they're closer to the floor, or maybe the fingers feel longer. Maybe the arm feels longer. Maybe the shoulder feels like it's farther away from the ear. So all of those things are true. And what's happening right now in the brain is trying to get a handle on what's changed. So let's roll the shoulders, both of them forward, up, back, and down a couple of times. Great. And now we're going to rest the right arm, and we're going to take that left arm, and using your elbow first, we're going to sweep that arm up and around and down and behind. So you can make your circles as large as is comfortable for you. If you've got something happening in this shoulder, this arm, elbow, whatever you've got going on in your body, just pay attention to that. And then we'll extend the whole arm if you can. Go up and around, nice and slow. So the slower you go, two things. The slower you go, the more you're going to feel this. And also your risk of getting a little pinch or a little injury in that shoulder is greatly reduced when you go slower. Okay? So the next time your arm is down toward the floor, that's when we're going to switch direction. Because remember what I said, when the arm is up overhead, the joint is a lot less stable. And we never want to switch direction, put a load or a demand on a joint when it's not as stable as it can be. So it's best to do this when the arm is all the way down. So are you breathing in and breathing out? Just kind of checking in with that. Great, and the next time that your arm is way up overhead, we're gonna hold here. We're gonna reach and lengthen and lean into that right side. Now lean as far as you can to the right, but don't let your left sitting bone come up off the chair. You wanna make sure both your sitting bones are planted on the chair and you're breathing. So if you're holding your breath, you wanna come out of that a little bit so that you can breathe more easily. Great, and then we're gonna come all the way up and drop that arm down to shoulder height. All right, so keep it lengthened. And now turn your palm down as you bring the arm forward. And then turn the palm up as you bring the arm back around behind you. So when you exhale, we're going to bring the arm forward and over to the right. And when you inhale, we're going to open the palm and come all the way to the left. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice, slow, steady movement. And notice if this is a smooth movement for you or if there's a little clicking or clunking in there. Sometimes that happens. Great. Couple more. Breathing in and breathing out. This gives the body the opportunity to kind of expand in a different way. Now, the next time that your arm is over to the right, so that's across your body, you're going to hold there. Take your right hand, go way up here between your elbow and your shoulder, and you're just going to give that a little pull. Now, if you're starting to lean forward, sit up nice and tall as you pull that arm over. Turn and look out over your left shoulder. Breathing in, breathing out, we're going to lift and lower the chin, again, like you're saying yes. So there's this gentle yes movement. Nothing should hurt here. It should feel like a stretch in there. If it feels like more than that, you can release your arm. Just kind of sit for a moment, breathing in, breathing out. Just one more time, lifting and lowering. And then we'll bring the head back to center. Chin goes with the head, so that's a good thing. And then we're going to release that arm, sweep it out to the side, bring it all the way around behind your back. And when your arm gets back there, again, we're going to grab hold of the hand or the wrist or whatever you can grab and give it a really gentle tug over to the right. So again, nothing should hurt in here, but it might be a pretty intense kind of stretch. So we just kind of bring that arm over. Now, as you're holding this here, relax your jaw, relax your neck and your chest. And we're going to gently bring that right ear to the right shoulder and hold here as we breathe in and breathe out. With every breath in and out, see if you can relax the shoulder muscles here on this left side, the neck muscles on the left side, maybe the chest, the hand, the arm. And maintaining that nice close relationship between your right ear and your right shoulder. We're just going to turn the nose down and turn the nose up. So breathing in, breathing out, turning the nose down and turning the nose up. And you may notice that this side is a little different than the other side. Maybe the other side, your ear was closer to your shoulder, or maybe it was farther away. Maybe there's more discomfort on one side than the other. And all of that is normal and natural for many of us. Just a couple more, turning the head. And one more down, and then we're going to bring the head back to center. Now keep your arm behind you. We're going to lift the head up, and now we're going to release that arm, sweep it forward, bring it all the way up overhead, or as far up overhead as you can do it. Make sure you're breathing. We're going to bend the elbow, patting yourself on the back on this side. As you next inhale, we're going to take that right hand and give that left elbow a little push up, right? Now see if you can hold your elbow up nice and high as you release your right hand. Keep lifting that elbow nice and high. Breathe in, breathe out. And as you're breathing in and breathing out and lifting that elbow, we're going to turn the head as far to the right as we can. So again, none of this should hurt. There might be a fair amount of stretch that you feel, maybe a little bit of discomfort, but not pain. Breathing in, breathing out. If this feels at any time like it's a little too much to hold, you can just let that go. Next inhale, bring your head back to center, and then we're going to take that arm way up overhead. Reach, reach, reach as far as you can. Get a little taller there. Breathe in, breathe out, you guys. And with your next exhale, let's slowly lower that arm all the way down. Let it hang down by your side. Take your right hand off your lap and let both arms hang down. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath in. Let it out with a sigh. And let's hope that the right arm and the left arm feel like the same length now. So let's shake that out a little bit. All right, let's interlace the fingers. We're going to do a little stretch for the hands and fingers here. So with your fingers interlaced, take a deep breath in and lengthen through your spine. And as you exhale, you're going to press your palms away, drop your chin to your chest. Inhale, exhale. Next breath in, arms come way up overhead, reach, 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 get a little taller in your chair. And as you exhale, we're just gonna let the arms float out to the sides and come all the way down. Great. Let's give these arms and hands and shoulders a little bit of a rest, so we can just let your hands rest on your lap if you'd like. And let's take the right leg, extend it out, have your heel on the floor, and begin by squeezing and extending your toes. So squeezing and extending toes. I think y'all can see my foot here. So we're pressing out through the heel, we're squeezing and extending toes, getting a little bit of movement in those toe joints. Your feet are super important, super cool too. Like a quarter of all your bones, of all the bones in your body is in this right foot. A quarter of all the bones in your body. That's pretty amazing. So let's start to point and flex that foot. So now you can feel movement at the ankle, right? You might feel it up into that lower leg. Might even feel it up into the knee a little bit here. Breathing in, breathing out. And now we'll start to circle at the ankle, going round and round. If it's too much to have your leg lifted from the floor, you can put your heel back on the floor and do it that way. With the leg lifted, with the heel lifted off the floor, you're getting a little bit of strength here in the quadriceps, which we really need. And then let's reverse direction, so go the other way. Great, and then we're going to bring that heel back down to the floor. Now, make sure you're seated right up close to the front of your chair. And if you can, have your hands kind of right alongside your hips. So hopefully your chair has no arms and you're able to maneuver that. You're going to press into your sitting bones. And now we're just going to bend this knee like you're trying to kick the chair underneath you, and then extend. So bend and extend. Now, I'm not bringing my heel back very far because I'm still rehabbing this leg. So my knee doesn't bend quite so much right now, but if you can bend yours and get that foot underneath your chair, go for it. Breathe in, breathe out, keep your spine nice and tall. Good. Relax your chin, your neck, your jaw, because sometimes we try and hold that leg up by clenching the jaw. It's amazing how much tension we carry in our faces. And then we're going to extend that leg, have the heel come down to the floor. Let's give that thigh a little massage. So doing all that work can get those thigh muscles a little bit contracted. So we're just giving a little bit here. You can squeeze, or you can use the side of your hand and do like a little chop movement, or you can use a light fist and kind of go that way. All right, once we've done that, we're going to keep that leg extended. Once again, now heel is on the floor, toes are reaching straight up toward the ceiling and back toward your shin as best you can. If you want, you can have your hands on your chair. You're going to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to rotate that whole leg in and out. So if you can see, my leg looks like a big windshield wiper. So I'm watching my foot. It's going like from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And I can feel that movement, not just in the ankle and the knee, but I can feel it especially way up here in the hip, like right in the hip crease, which is a place that gets pretty tight for a lot of us. Can be a little problematic. Next time that your foot is straight up toward the ceiling. So if you were to look at your foot, it's at, say, the 12 o'clock position. We're going to hold there. Now, this is where you really want to kind of hold onto your chair, push into your hands, and let that lengthen, help you lengthen your spine a little bit. Pull your belly in. So you want to use your abdominal muscles. Pull the belly in a little bit. We're going to lift that right heel and lower it down. So lift and lower. Now these muscles here, the muscles in the top part of the leg, the thigh muscles, these are the muscles that we're working, right? So these muscles come up into your hip, and by strengthening those muscles, it's going to be a lot easier to get up and down from the chair and in and out of the car and up and down stairs and all those good things. Next time your heel is on the floor, we're going to rotate that leg so that when you look at your foot, it's out to the, I'm going to say the 10 o'clock position, right? I think that's right. No, it's the 2 o'clock position. I'm backwards. So we've got that foot out to, it's up to your little toe side. I'll put it that way because I'm not so good with my time this morning. So we're going to hold the foot in that kind of diagonal position, and we're going to lift and lower. Now we're working some muscles right in here. It's along that kind of middle edge of the top, where the top part of the thigh and the inside of the thigh come together. It's right in there. Good to work these muscles, get them nice and strong. Keep breathing. Keep the spine nice and tall. Keep your jaw relaxed. And the next time you lift, I'm going to ask you to hold. Whew. See if you can hold that leg up. Breathe in, breathe out. And then lower that all the way down. Wonderful. Give that knee a little bend, and let's give that leg another massage. Again, you can squeeze, or you can kind of chop with the sides of your hands, or you can use a light fist and kind of do a little bit of a tap here. These are all great ways to kind of get those muscles to relax and let go. Okay, we're still working on that right side. So you're going to scoot over to the right side of your chair so that the right buttock is almost off, but not quite. It's still on the chair. And then we're going to take that foot, we're going to work it around. I'm going to slide my chair this way. So we're going to work that foot around using the toe and the heel. And then we're going to come all the way back. So it's a really gentle way to exercise your ankle, which we don't often think of the ankle as needing some exercise. But if you think about how you use your ankles, it's almost always when you're bearing weight. So you're walking, or you're turning, maybe you're dancing, or you're doing some other activity where you're bearing weight. This is a nice way to get movement in that very complex joint without putting any weight on it. It has a totally different feel when you do it like this. So keep going, keep breathing. We're just going back and forth, and notice how you can feel that up in your leg, your lower leg. You might feel it up into your knee, and as the foot gets way out to that right side, you're feeling it here in that inner thigh. Try not to turn your body to the right when you're bringing your leg around. So this is really about the leg and the hip. It's not about how far you can get in that direction. It's just really about examining what's happening there. And now the next time that your foot is way out to the right, we're going to keep it in that position. And once again, notice if you're starting to drift, if your hips and your waist are starting to go to that right side, see if you can turn back, so that if you were to take your a plumb line and go from your navel to your left knee, they're in a nice straight line, right? It's a little harder to do. And now what you might notice is that this right knee is starting to come forward a bit. So I'm going to ask you to engage the muscles in the outside of your hip and your leg and pull that knee toward the back. So for me, I'm going to go this way. For you, you're going to go that way. So we're pulling that knee back behind. Now we're stretching this inner thigh. We're putting a little bit of a load on the hip, which is what we want to do. And we're sitting up nice and tall as we do that. Press your right foot down into the floor a little bit. So you're pulling the knee back behind you and you're pushing the foot into the floor at the same time. Take your right hand and place it here on your right thigh. Lift and lengthen through your spine. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take that left arm on an inhalation, bring it all the way up. And as you exhale, we're going to lean into that right side. Now put your weight in your right hand and lean into that right side. Keep your left sitting bone on the chair and then come all the way up and bring that arm down. Now breathe in and breathe out. Doesn't matter when you inhale and exhale, as long as you can keep all of these things going at the same time. So let me iterate them one more time. So we're pulling the right knee toward the wall behind us. So that means we're engaging those muscles in the side of the leg and the side of the hip. And we're pressing that right foot into the floor. And we've got the hand on the thigh. So we're leaning into the hand and we're bending that elbow. And we've got that left arm reaching up and over. And by the way, we're breathing while we're doing all of this. And the breath isn't short. It's not difficult. It's a nice, easy, fluid breath. Just a couple more. Great. And just one more of these with the arm up. We're going to lean over into that right side and then come all the way back up. Nice job. Let's relax that right leg a little bit just for a moment. Breathing in, breathing out. And then let's see if we can extend that right leg. So use your heel, your toe, whatever you can do to get that heel on the floor and the toes lifting up toward the ceiling. Now you're going to engage these muscles. So if your knee has a bend in, if you can see I've got a little bend in my knee, I'm going to press down into my heel and I'm trying to bring the back of my knee toward the floor. As I do that, I'm engaging these muscles on the top of the thigh. Now that's pretty challenging to do here. So press out through that leg. Remember, if you're starting to drift your body in this position, you're going to turn your body so you're facing that left knee. Take your right arm to the inside of your right leg. Inhale, come all the way up with the left. And as you exhale, we're going to lean into that right side. Slide your hand down your leg. Don't let your left sitting bone come up off the chair. And coming all the way back and down. So breathing in and breathing out. Smooth and easy. So once again, I'll give you the whole setup here. You need to do all of these things simultaneously. So you're lengthening that right leg. The muscles here on the top of that thigh are really strong. You can feel your kneecap is really secure here. You're using your right hand to support you as you lean over. Your left sitting bone does not come off the chair as your left arm comes up and over, and your breath is smooth and steady. Great. Just one more time. We're going to go up and over. And then we're going to bring that left hand down to the chair. So you're going to want to put that hand on the chair. Keep that leg extended. But now instead of the toes reaching up toward the ceiling, you're going to point your toes down. So we're getting a little bit more of a stretch through the top part of the leg and a little bit of contraction in the bottom back part of the lower leg. So keep the toes pointing. Now your toes might be on the floor or they might just be reaching toward the floor. Doesn't really matter. We're going to inhale as we take that right arm up and exhale as we lean into the left side. Now bend your left elbow and put some weight into that arm. Come up and back. Breathe in, breathe out. If this is too much, bringing your arm up overhead, you can always bring your hand up to your shoulder, right? Or you can bring your arm part of the way up. So we're all kind of working with certain limitations. We've all got limitations, guys. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how fit you are. We all have limitations at different times. Okay, one more time, up and over. And then we're gonna come all the way back. Beautiful. Let's relax that right leg. Use your heel and your toes and see if you can walk your foot back. So we're gonna come all the way back here. Come back to the center of your chair. Now let's see if we can cross the legs. So we've got the right leg on top of the left leg. Okay, inhale, lift and lengthen through your spine. And as you exhale, you're going to come forward like you're trying to bring your chest down onto your knee. Breathe in and come all the way up. Try not to drop your chin down, right? So we're not leaning forward with the head. We're actually hinging forward from the hip like you're trying to bring your chest to your knee and then come up. So let's breathe in, breathe out as we do this. Now, some of us are going to get really far forward and some of us are just going to come a little bit forward, and that's okay. That's okay. Great. One more time. We're going to come forward and all the way back up. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Now, for those who can slide the ankle on top of the knee, go ahead and do that. You know that figure four I'm going to show you on this side. So like that, only with your right leg. I can't do that right now. So I'm going to cross at the ankle, which is the option, the other option for how to do this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to engage the muscles here in the outside of the leg, whether your ankle is up here on your knee or down there on your ankle, doesn't matter at all. We're going to pull that knee down toward the floor and we're going to lift up and lengthen through the spine and then relax all of that, right? So breathe in and breathe out as you pull that knee toward the floor, lift and lengthen through your spine. Breathe in and breathe out as you relax. We'll do this a couple more times, breathing in and out and relaxing. And last time, we're going to pull that knee down, lift and lengthen through the spine and relax. Great. And one more just for fun, we're going to pull that knee down toward the floor. Now with the right knee pulled down toward the floor, again, whether you crossed on top of your knee or on top of your ankle, doesn't matter. We're going to keep the spine nice and long, and then we're going to bend forward from the hips, again, like you're trying to bring your chest down onto your knees, not your nose to your knees, but your chest to your knees. So don't drop your head and then come all the way up. So breathe in, breathe out. So we're coming forward and backward. Inhaling and exhaling. That looks great. Couple more. Good. And last one, we're going to come forward and we're going to hold here. So holding here, breathing in, breathing out. And then let's come all the way back up. That's great, everybody. So now you're going to uncross this ankle from the knee. You might give it a little hand, especially if your hip is saying, wow, that was something. And then what we're going to do is extend both legs. Now, as you extend both legs, point your toes and see if your right leg is longer than your left. So if you look at your right toes, it should be a little bit farther out than your left toes. Isn't that amazing how that happens? Again, your brain is just trying to catch up here. So now we're just going to bend the knees, bring the hands to the lap, close your eyes for a moment. Let's take a couple of breaths in and out. Let your body relax. Come back into that sensation of examination. Is your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, are your jaw, neck, and shoulders tight, or are they relaxed? What about your hips, your legs, your hands, your arms? And if you have your eyes closed, you can let your eyes open. So have your right foot in a comfortable position underneath your knee, and now we're going to extend the left leg. So we're going to do the same thing on the left side that we did on the right. We're going to squeeze and extend through the toes. Squeezing and extending through toes. Again, making sure you're right up close to the front edge of your chair. Good. And now let's start to point and flex the foot. And once again, if you can lift your heel when you're pointing and flexing, you're getting some strengthening happening here in your thigh, top of your thigh. Those are your quadriceps muscles. Those muscles are responsible for your kneecap, for its functioning. Good. And then we'll start to circle at the ankle. So as you're circling at the ankle, again, if you need to drop your heel to the floor to do this circling, by all means do that, especially if you've got something happening in that leg and hip. Don't stress it too much. And then we'll reverse direction. So going around the other way, and we're breathing in, breathing out. And then let's bring that heel down to the floor. So now we've got the left leg extended. Got the heel on the floor. You can take your hands and place them on the chair on either side of your hips, so it's kind of right in line with your hips here. That just helps you to keep your spine up nice and tall. Now, if your shoulders are way up here, see if you can drop your shoulders down a little bit. And we're going to do a little knee bend on this side. So whenever you're ready, you're going to pull in your belly because we're using those belly muscles. And then we're going to bend and extend that knee, right? So again, bend. If you can get your heel like under your chair or close to under your chair, that's great. If you can't, just do the best you can. So we're working those hamstring muscles in the back of the thigh, and we're stretching those quadriceps muscles here in the front of the thigh when we bend. And then as we extend, we're stretching the hamstring muscles and we're strengthening the quadriceps muscles. I love exercises that kind of get at both things. So just a couple more. Good, and the next time that you extend, you can lower that leg all the way down, relax it a little bit. Let's give a little massage here to this thigh so you can squeeze. I like squeezing a little bit, and then you can do like the little chop with the side of your hand if you like, or you can do a little light fist and do that kind of thing. So that all works really well too. All right, and then we're gonna sit up nice and tall again, extend that leg one more time here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate the whole leg in and out. So if you look at your left foot, it's gonna go from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Breathe in, breathe out. So that rotation is happening in the ankle, in the knee, in the hip. It's also happening in the fascia and the muscles in your whole leg. So it's not just at the joints. I mean, those are the locations that we're kind of focusing on, but all this movement is happening throughout the whole leg. And now the next time that your foot is straight up and down, like it's at 12 o'clock, we're gonna hold it there. Once again, notice, are you leaning to one side? Are you extended well? Do you need to come forward in your chair a little bit? You're gonna bring your hands alongside your hips. You're gonna lengthen through your spine, pull your belly in. Keep breathing in and breathing out as we slowly lift and lower that heel from the floor. So keep the legs straight. You don't wanna let that knee bend. You wanna have the muscles here nice and strong. So we're lifting and lowering it, and it doesn't matter how high you lift that leg. You might lift it a ½ inch. You might lift it 6 inches. Doesn't really matter. If you're lifting, however, and you're leaning back in your chair, you're not actually using the muscles that we're concentrating on. So that's why the hands are here alongside you, and the back is nice and tall, so that we're really focusing on these muscles here in the thigh and that come up into the hip. Let's just lift one more time. We're gonna hold here just for a couple of breaths. So you're pressing out through your heel. These muscles are really strong. We're asking them to do a lot of work. And then let's lower that heel all the way down. Now let's rotate the leg so the foot is going out to the little toe side, right? So this is your left, so I'm gonna say that's 10 o'clock. I think I got it this time. So I think we're at 10 o'clock here, and we're really activating these leg muscles. Once again, with the hands here, the belly pulled in and the spine nice and tall, breath smooth and steady, we're lifting and lowering that leg. Lifting and lowering. So right now we're asking a lot from a little group of muscles here where the top part of the thigh and the inside of the thigh come together. It's right in that junction spot. Breathing in and breathing out. Smooth and steady. Great. Next time you lift, can you hold here just for 2 breaths? Just 2 breaths. There's 1. And 2. Ooh, and lower that down. Relax that leg. Give it a little massage. Wow. That's a lot to ask of that leg on a Tuesday morning. And we'll do a little bit of tapping or a little bit of chopping there if it feels okay. All right, and now you're going to scoot over to the left side of your chair. As you scoot over to the left side of your chair, have your right foot on the floor right in front of you, and you're going to use your heel and your toes and walk that left leg out and then walk it back. Now notice if you're starting to drift, if you're starting to turn toward that left side when you bring the leg out. See if you can just bring it back. So our body's facing forward and the leg is going out to the side here. Just a couple more of these. So again, this is a nice exercise, nice easy exercise to do for your ankle. It's a nice way to decompress that joint. That joint can get really compressed, especially if we tend to stand more on one foot than the other. So if you're standing up, we tend to put our weight on one side than the other, and that can cause a little more compression in that joint. Next time your leg is way out to the left, we're gonna hold here. And then let's check in. So has your body started to drift to that left side, or are you facing your right knee? So again, your navel and your right knee are kind of in a nice straight line, and that leg is going out to the left. Now, press down a little bit into your foot, and then engage the muscles here in the outside of this leg and the outside of the hip, and pull your knee toward the wall behind you. So I'm pulling this way, you guys are pulling that way. Right, so we're pulling that knee behind, and you can really feel that. I can really feel that in the hip. So I'm gonna say that maybe some of you can feel that in your hip as well. So as we're holding here, we're gonna take the left hand and place it on the thigh. And this hand is gonna act as a little bit of a support as we breathe in and bring the right arm up. And as we breathe out and lean into that left side. So keep your right sitting bone on the chair, breathing in and out, doesn't matter. We're gonna bring the arm up and down, right? So it's this nice fluid movement. Get the arm as tall and long as you can, right? So we've got that arm nice and long and tall. Breathing in and breathing out. Excellent. Just a couple more of these. Let's say the next time we go over to that left side, let's hold here for a moment. So make sure your right sitting bone stays on the chair. If your elbow's a little bent here, that's fine. Just do the best you can. If you need the arm to come forward a little bit, that's okay too. So whatever feels like it's really getting a stretch through that right side for you. Make sure you're breathing. So if your breath is getting really choppy or shallow, you need to come up a little bit. It means you're just trying a little too hard. Next inhale, come all the way up and bring that arm back down to the side. Great. And now relax this left leg a little bit. We're going to use the toes and the heel or whatever works for you to extend that leg out to the side. So now instead of the knee being bent, the knee is straight. We've got the heel on the floor. The toes are reaching up toward the ceiling. So let me just orient you one more time. So the right leg, the knee is bent and the foot is right under the ankle if you can. And your navel is facing that direction. Your left leg is out to the left as far as it can go. The leg is extended. The heel is on the floor. The toes are reaching up toward your shin, and you're breathing. So now we're going to take that left hand and just kind of let it rest here on the leg. As you breathe in, take your right arm up, and as you breathe out, you're going to lean into that left side, slide your hand down your leg, breathe in as you come up, and breathe out as the arm comes down. So we're just going to continue this movement, breathing in and out whenever it's comfortable and moving as it's comfortable. Now, if having your arm way up is too much, you can lift just your elbow. That's okay. You could even lift the arm forward a little bit. If your arm doesn't really go up overhead without creating some pain, you can bring the arm forward a little bit. So there's lots of ways that we can make modifications to things to make it a little bit easier for the body. Just one more time here, you guys. We're going to come up and over. Great. Excellent. And then we're going to take that right hand, we're going to place it down on the chair right next to your right hip. Now that left leg is still extended, but we're going to point the toes. So if you can get your toes as close to the floor as you can, that's great. Some people are going to have the toes on the floor. Some people are going to have the toes kind of reaching for the floor. Keep the sitting bones on the chair. Your torso is facing forward, so your navel and your right knee are in a nice straight line. And then we're going to sweep that left arm up, and let's lean to the right. So you're breathing in and breathing out, coming up and over. Let's do that a couple of times here. Breathing in and breathing out. Great. Yeah, one more time, breathe in as we lift up and over, and breathe out as we come all the way back. Beautiful. Release that arm. Let's relax that left leg and use your toes and your heel and slowly walk that foot back. And as you do, you're going to scoot your backside to the center of your chair. Okay, so we're back to center. Now let's take that left leg, cross it over the right leg, right? So as you cross that over the right leg, we're going to inhale and lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, bring your chest down toward your knee, right? Breathing in as you come up and breathing out as you come forward, or the other way around, right? So again, this is kind of your practice. So what feels most what feels most efficient in your body, right? I know for me, what feels most efficient is to exhale as I come forward, because there's less space here in the front of my body when I come forward, and there's more space to breathe in when I come back. But that might not resonate with you, and that's okay. So just one more time. Great. And then we're going to come all the way up. Now, for those who can, you're going to slide your ankle on top of your knee. And if that doesn't work for you, you can slide the ankle on top of the ankle. So I'm gonna give this a try this morning. I'm gonna have my ankle on top of my knee. So now we're gonna take engage the muscles here in the outside of the leg and the outer part of the hip, and we're gonna pull that knee down toward the floor. And as we do, we're gonna come forward. And then we're gonna relax and come back up. So breathing in and breathing out, we're pulling that knee forward. Don't push with your hand. So I'm going to take my hand off of there so I'm not tempted to give that leg a little push. So each time I pull my knee down toward the floor, I'm leaning forward, trying to bring my chest down onto my knee. Just a couple more times. Let's just work in that hip joint a little bit. Great. Last time, we're going to come forward. Excellent, and then come all the way back up. Now, let's uncross this leg. You can give it a little hand if you'd like. Bring that foot back down to the floor, and then let's see if we can extend both legs. Point your toes, and hopefully your right leg and left leg are now the same length again. So they're looking pretty good over here in my neck of the woods, and hopefully that's the case for you. So now that we've done that, you can relax, maybe sit into the back of your chair a little bit. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. So we're going to end with a little bit of breathing and meditation. It's always nice to I like to sandwich the physical part of our practice between some breathing exercises, because it's always nice to kind of check in and see where things are at with the breath, because that is your barometer for stress. If your breathing is really shallow, if your breathing is really fast, if you feel like you're kind of hyperventilating a little bit, that means your stress level is kind of high. And you can take that stress level down by consciously deepening your breath. So sitting here in a relaxed position with your eyes closed, again, if that's comfortable, or gaze drop down to the floor. Let's go back to breathing in and out through the nose. And if that's not possible for you to breathe in and out through your nose this morning, see if you can at least breathe in through your nose and out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. The reason for breathing in and out through the nose is that the nostrils filter all the pollen that's out there right now, and there's a lot of it. It filters the pollen and all of the little pathogens that are in our air, and it also warms the air to just the right temperature for the lungs. So the lungs operate the most efficiently when the air is at a temperature that they're really liking. So if the air is really cold outside and you breathe in through your mouth, that's a lot of cold air going right into that lung tissue, and that can be a little jarring. And likewise, if it's hot, it can be a little bit too much. So breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfortable, breathing in through the nose and out through pursed lips if that's more efficient for you. And slowing the breath down. So with each inhalation and exhalation, so an inhalation and an exhalation together is a cycle of breath. It's called one cycle. So with every cycle of breath, your breathing rate is getting a little bit slower, a little bit more relaxed. As you inhale and exhale, relax the muscles in your face. So those muscles that cause your brow to furrow around your eyes, see if you can relax those. Relax your jaw. Now, as you relax your jaw, you might notice it feels like the corners of your mouth are kind of turned down a little bit. That's the default position for a lot of people. So I'm just going to ask you to do this without tightening your jaw. See if you can turn the corners of your mouth up slightly. So it's like you're doing a little bit of a smile. So breathing in and breathing out, your face muscles are relaxed, and yet you've got a little engagement to those muscles in the corners of the lips, the corners of the mouth. And you're just encouraging the corners of the mouth to turn up a little bit. What you might notice when you do this is that it's easier to maintain that relaxed face. Breathing deeply in and out. Investigate if there's any tension in your neck and shoulders. Make a choice to let that tension go. Slow, deep breaths in and out. Relax the tension in your arms, your hands, your fingers. Inhaling and exhaling. Relax tension in your chest, your back, your belly, your hips. Relax the tension in your legs, your knees, your ankles, your feet. With every breath in, feel your whole body expand gently. With every breath out, feel your whole body contract gently. Breathing in, breathing out. As you're inhaling and exhaling, allowing your body to relax, notice your thoughts. And let your thoughts come and go at will, so try not to follow a thought. Oftentimes thoughts will try and rope you in, get you to start thinking about something, but just let it go. If you find that you're getting attached to a thought, turn your awareness back to your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. No thought is more important than your inhalation and exhalation. Your thoughts aren't necessary for your life to go on, but your breath certainly is. So give your breath the recognition and the space to expand and contract in your body. And then take your right hand and place it up at your heart, and then cover your right hand with your left. As you're inhaling and exhaling, feel your chest rising and falling underneath your hands. Take a deep breath in and let it out with a sigh so that you feel that sigh vibrate underneath your hands. And then let's take a moment collectively, bringing the hands together, maybe just bowing your head for a moment and acknowledging first all the wonderful things in your life, all the things you have to be grateful for. Whether those things are something that you've worked for or something that has come your way easily, it doesn't matter. Gratitude is just in the receiving of those things as they're presented. And then if you'd like, you can relax your hands, open your eyes, and I'd just like to say thank you and gratitude. I'm grateful to all of you today.